Hi, welcome to Crafternoon. I'm Nicki Dennett. I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction into screen printing today at home. So hopefully you can gather some bits from around the house to help you make your own screen that you can use in lots of different versatile ways, which I'll show you a few of those ideas this week. So to get us started, I'm just going to show you a few examples of some screen prints and some different screens and the equipment that you can use traditionally, or things that you can make to use as well. Right, so start with. So some of these screen prints I've done onto fabric. This is. I'm going to put the screen down so you can see what I'm doing and what I'm showing you. So this is done onto fabric using, this has been using dies and a stencil. So that it can be done without any photographic exposure or anything like that. And same with this one. These squares were created by just using a small screen like I'm going to show you how to make today. The text was done photographic under a UV light, something that's more difficult to do at home. I'll show you some other ones. I'll just put that back up again. So a few other ones, just a few samples that I've done that were photographic ones, but these are some that you can use sketches in your own designs once you've got a screen. This was screen printed also. This originally was a wood block, but I made it into a screen. And where's that one gone? Well, this one, if you can see that. That was a really simple one to do, just using shredded paper from the paper shredder. So I just took the paper out and just sprinkled it on, and I did a few different colours. It's still work in progress, still plan to do some more layers on that sample. And so to make your screen, we'll go through the screen first, and I'll show you how to make the screen, and then I'll show you a few different ways of printing with that. I've got a few screens here. This is one. You can buy kits. So if you don't want to make your own screen, you can buy a kit which will have everything in that you need. It will have a screen, something like this, a squeegee like this, and you'll get your inks and various other bits and pieces and stencils. Sometimes they come with stencils and things. This is what we're going to make today. This is a homemade screen, and it's got the screen mesh in there. The mesh that I use it's gauge 43T. You can use between 39 and 43T. You'll see what I mean if you start to Google it and look for some of this yourself. This is from Amazon. So all I Googled in was, all I put into Amazon was silk screen mesh, and it will come up with different gauges. So make sure you get one between 39 and 43 for a small home multi-purpose one. So that's what I got for that. So I got a whole metre of this. It was £16 for a metre, but it was written down here, 275 by 165 centimetres. So it's quite a lot, and it does quite a lot of screens. I managed to do this one as well from that. So let's get started. There are lots and lots of books out there as well on screen printing. Some of my favourite books on different printmaking techniques are the AC and black ones, things like this. They've got a whole series of different types of printmaking processes, and they're really good. There's lots of other ones like this, handmade prints. There's lots of simple ideas in those that we can use that I'll show you some of next week as well. So to make the screen, you're going to need some gauze, or you can use net curtaining. I've not tried it, so I don't know how well it works, but you can use, if you've got an odd bit of net curtain that you've cut off your net curtains. Don't go cutting up your net curtains, but if you've got a bit extra at the bottom that you can cut off. Just a simple wooden frame, preferably varnished. but if not, you can varnish it, or we can use tape like I have on the other ones. But take the back and take all the little bits out of the back and the glass and everything, obviously. And also, instead of a squeegee, if you've got a small frame like this, instead of a squeegee, just use a store card. This is an old Sainsbury's gift card, so we can use that instead of a squeegee as well. It works just as well. I think that's it for the materials. Oh, another idea that you might need to make as well beforehand. This is just a little, where's the camera? Just a little block of lots and lots of bits of card taped together. This is for the purpose of when it comes to printing, that it will hold the. I made two, so it just holds it up. So if you're painting on the screen, then it doesn't go straight through. So that's the idea of that. So I'm going to start showing you how to make your screen. If you start off with your wooden frame, hope you can see that okay. And cut your bit of mesh or net curtain just a bit bigger than the size of the screen. You'll need a staple gun like this to staple it on. If you haven't got a staple gun, you can use those tiny little tacks that you get and hammer those in instead from the DIY store. So I'm going to start from one corner and I'm going to start at an angle, just putting some, and as I do it, I'm going to do one side first, and I'm going to pull it to give it some tension and put lots of, this is a really thin frame, so it's a bit difficult, but just go as you go down, make sure you've got them as an angle, plenty in, and just keep tightening it as you go along. And one in the corner there. Right, so then I'm going to turn it round, I'm going to go down the next row, and pulling it as I go. Pop them in there at an angle. And we're going to pull it tight. There we go. So that's those two sides there. I've done two sides. You can see that okay. What's that say? Right, so then it gets a bit more difficult as you go around, but pull it, so because you're trying to pull it in two different ways at the same time. I'm just going to pull it as tight as I can, up and across. There we go. That's that side now, so the last side, I can put it nice and taut. Just pull it one way now, and your fingers. There we go. And last one. And I can just see how tight that is. Pretty tight, that. Pretty good. And just put a few extra ones in there, left gaps, and pull it a bit tighter. That should do the job. If we can get one in there, we can get a tiny bit tighter there. That's it. So that's that. So then I'm just going to trim off the edges. Scissors. Doesn't have to be too neat. It's to one side. And that's it. So then you need to get your hammer. Where have I put my hammer? Oh no, we're back. We seem to have lost a excuse me, we seem to have lost a bit of a connection there, so I'll carry on from where we left off. So we've made the screen. We're going to hammer the staples in so they're nice and tight. I'll put the screen back down so you can see what I'm doing. So just need to hammer each one in to make sure it's nice and firm, going all the way around. I'll just do it quickly. There, so they're not protruding out of the frame. And then I'm going to apply some tape. So you can either use gum tape, which is this stuff that you have to wet and put that around the whole of the edge, or if you want to, what I've used on these ones, I've used some electrical tape, so it's waterproof and it just covers it nicely. So I'm going to use the electrical tape for this. So if you haven't waterproofed your frame, this is waterproof. It's very sticky, so just pop that round around the edges. So go around each side until you've got it like this. So that's that taped around all the edges, and then before I start to use that frame, you can either put some masking tape around to make a nice little border and frame in there, so it doesn't all seep underneath, because you want that to be permanent. You can use masking tape, or you can use the gum tape. The gum tape does tend to stay on a bit longer if you do more than one print from it as well, so I'll use the gum tape for now. But here I haven't got any, just use the masking tape. I have a spray bottle, so I just need to wet that a little bit. Spray it. Try to. Spray that. And then I'm not going to put it right in, we want a bit of space. I'm just going to take that all the way around. Right, but you will have to let that dry then before you start using the screen. So I'll just take that all the way around. The next thing you're going to need to think about is what design you're going to make, what you want to do, and do you want to work on fabric or do you want to work on paper? I'm going to do some on fabric today. So the next thing I'll show you how to mix the inks up. Right, so that's all stuck down. So while that's drying, we can start to make a stencil and mix up some inks. Okay. Right, just pop that to one side. That's that. See that? Just pop that to one side. Okay, best place for it to dry. Right, so we need to prepare everything else now. I'll just put it up a little bit so you're not just looking at some paper. Right, so you've got to think about what you're going to do and what you're going to use. So I've got here some textile medium. Can you see that? Ooh, the camera. A little bit. So it's System 3 Textile Medium by Dale and Rowney. That's available. I got that one from Turner's at Rowsley. You can get things easily offline at the moment because you won't be able to go into any shops at the minute. And also, I have It's not got the label on it. There we are. I just have to show you the label because the bottle, I've got quite a big one of this. So, but this is the same again, System 3, but this one's called Acrylic Printing Medium. You see that's the label. So you can easily get that, and that's also Dale and Rowney. Any art and craft supply store should have those, and I use them with the System 3 acrylics in different colours. So what you need to do is, it's a good idea to collect some glass jars, just some random jars to mix up your paints in, because they will keep for quite a while. So we'll mix up some of this first. So I'm going to mix up some blue. Make sure you mix up enough that to what you're going to use. And about the same quantity, I'll use the textile because I'm going to work on textile today. So I'll put about the same quantity of the textile medium to the quantity of paint. And then just give it a stir. And the amount of medium you put in will determine the colour when you come to printing it. If you don't put any of this in, it will, the ink, the acrylic paint, will dry on your screen and it will ruin your screen. So this helps it to push it through the screen without it sticking. So you do need to put some of that on. So that's that one mixed up. I'll just pop that in the water. So it doesn't. So I've got a blue ink mixed up. So you might want to get a few colours ready before you start. Right, the stencils. I've got this really, really nice book by Matisse, and it's Matisse's cutouts from an exhibition I went to at the Tate Modern, and it's got some really nice, simple cutout shaped ideas, which I'm gonna use something inspired by Matisse today. So firstly, we need to cut out some stencils. So I've done a little design on my paper. So just use a photocopy paper or newsprint. You'll need a cutting board as well. So just cut out that design with a little knife. I've got a little swivelly knife here, and I've just got a normal craft knife. Both of those you can get online. So I'm going to cut out all those. I'm going to keep it quite simple today because we haven't got that much time really. So I'm just cutting out all the bits that I want to be coloured in a certain colour. If you want more than one colour, then you'll have to do more of these the same using a light box, or you can stick them on the window so you get the same design, and then cut out the shapes of whichever colour. But I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to use 2 colours. So we're going to make a block like this one. So that's if you've got some nice papers that you can try things out on. That one's just on a page out of a book. Some text, some pattern paper. So this is the kind of thing we're going to do. But also I'm going to show, if we have time, I will show you how to use it. You can use watercolours. You get a really, really, really subtle image with the watercolours, much paler than the acrylics, but you can get some quite nice effects. But I'll show you how to do that one as well. But we'll start by using the stencil. So what I will do is use a stencil that I've pre-cut to save us some time. There's other ways you can use stencils as well. I've found recently that you can actually use the lining from what's it called, interfacing that you use in textiles, and you can paint about 3 layers of acrylic around, and then you've got something that you can wash, and it's flexible, so it's more of a permanent stencil. So that's quite a nice idea, because the paper ones, they don't last very long. I have used this a couple of times, and you can see it's all curling up, so it may not do a very good print this time, but we'll see. So if that's dry enough, quite dry yet. So I'm going to get my fabric ready now. Put it up again. Right, so I'm just going to print on some fabric. Like I say, if you want to print on paper, you can use a different variety of paper, whatever you've got around the house that you want to use. I've just got a piece of white fabric. And I'm going to keep it this size because I might do lots of different prints on it, so I might repeat the print all over the fabric instead of just doing one print. So you will need to iron it first and tape it down. I'll just show you, put that down here so you can see. So I've just got this fabric. You might want to iron it a bit. Just get the creases out. And I'm just going to tape it to the table. It doesn't move around too much. So on the ones I did, on these ones that I did the yellow first. So I'm going to do, I did it on there, but I will need to mix up some yellow. Got another jar here. And I'm going to get some yellow. What's left in these? Some yellow first. Okay, mix some medium in with that. It's always a good idea to have some baby wipes or a damp cloth nearby because it can get a bit messy. And wear an apron, I cannot. Okay. Okay, so that's mixed up pretty well. Probably a better idea to mix it away from your nice clean fabric. But for today, I've got an awful lot of room. I've done a few first layers as well on an envelope and on some lined paper. Show you this one. This is one that I printed from the interfacing ones, so you can see where on the first print on the black it's got quite a lot of spotted effects where the paint obviously hasn't gone, hasn't stayed on the. I've needed to put another layer on it, on paint on that. Where's the other one? I don't know where the other one is. Yeah, so that's an example of using the interfacing. I'm just letting this is dry enough. So if it's not dry, we can always get the hairdryer onto that. Let's give it a go. Let's see. So I'm just going to register it by eye to keep it quite simple. What you might find that you need is something to hold it still. So I'm first of all pop these bits of card underneath. I'm going to flood it first with ink, and I've got some old scale weights. So anything, could use stones, bricks, little bricks and rocks, whatever, just to keep it still and keep it firm. So, and then you need something to get this out of. So you can use a palette knife or This is what I would normally use for getting the ink out, but it doesn't fit in the jar, so I can't use that. So I'm just going to get plenty of ink out of there, and I'm going to put it across the bottom of the screen. So this is just going to make a block of yellow. A bit more at that side. Yellow. Put the lid on so it doesn't dry out, and then I'm just going to flood the screen with the ink. If I put that card. Oh, there it is. So I've got a little squeegee here that I could use, but I'll just show you with the card first. So just flood it upwards so that all the inks. Put that back in the jar, actually. So that's flooded it. So now I can put it down onto my, so I'll take these away, put it down onto my fabric. I'll move one of the weights to the other side. Put some more ink on it. It's a good idea to have somewhere that you can put your squeegee down. So have a little space, maybe a piece of paper or something to put it on when it's messy. Haven't mixed very much up. So then I'm going to start now at the top. I'm going to pull the squeegee down. I'll use this again so you can see how. And then just put it through. Because it doesn't fit the whole width of the screen, I have to do it down twice. One more for good measure. And then take these off. Take the weights off, but not move it, because I'm just going to lift it up sideways just to check that everything's okay. That looks fine. That's perfect. So what I did so then you will have to wash your screen. That's something you have to keep doing when you're screen printing between each colour. You're going to have to wash your screen. So it's a good idea to do lots of the same thing first. I'll just show you. I'm just going to wipe my hands first. Hands with baby wipes. Right. And so I'm going to show you this. It's done. This is something that was done the same as I've just showed you how to do this, with a small little screen, and I just did lots of them, and then lots of different colour overlapping, and then another colour overlapping that. So we're just building it up really. So on this one, I could do, before washing the screen, I could do another one. So let's have one over here. I'm not going to overlap that one too because it's not dry, so I'm just going to put it down there. And then you can just keep going, just keep doing lots of them. I did quite a few of these ones when I started, and then they're ready to have the next layer put on. You can layer up as many layers as different colours as you like. This back in the jar. You may want to scrape up some of the, scrape up some of the bits, put back in the jar when you're finished. Okay, that's it. And that one. So I've got two on my fabric now. So now I'll need to wash that screen because you don't want that ink to dry on there because it will ruin your screen. So I'm just going to pop that into some water for now. Okay, so that's the first layer finished. So I'm going to take this off now. Normally I'd just let that dry and then I'd work over it with something else, but I'm going to take this off and I'm going to go back to the ones I did earlier. I'm going to just put that up there to dry. Oh, the dog's barking. And I'm going to grab these. I'm going to work on these. I'm going to tape these down. Okay, just tape them down to keep them still. I'm going to work on those. So for these, I've got some ink I mixed up here earlier. This has got the acrylic printing medium in for paper. So that's for not the textile medium. It's got just ordinary acrylic medium in it. I'm just going to put that one away. Okay, so now it's time to use your stencil that you put out earlier, and I'm going to just do it by eye in the water. So if I just level it up by eye on there, and then now because I haven't cleaned my screen, I'm just going to use this one that I made earlier, but I'm just going to, instead of putting the gum tape, I'm just going to put some masking tape around it just for time issues. So there we go. Just pop that all the way around. Now this one's a little bit bigger than that one is, so just remember to make your drawing fit into your screen as well. So that's brilliant. Now, I've got curly bits on this one, but you can use you can make your stencils out of a thin plastic as well, which will make them last longer. Now again, I'm going to put the weights on here, and I'm going to flood it with the blue ink. Put some blue ink on there. Some more palette knives. Okay, we'll just use a knife. Get this ink out of here. And just put that across the bottom. Sounds like we've also got a friendly wasp flying around as well. Right, I'm going to flood that. I'm going to use my little squeegee for this one because of washing the card. So flood that. Put some thick bits in there. Because I made this quite a while ago, it's gone a little bit on the thick side, but hopefully it won't affect the final outcome. Put that in there. Some more ink on. Okay, oops, my leaves. And then pull that through a couple of times to get rid of that ink. And let's have a look. Now you'll find that your stencil will stick to your screen, which is good, because that means you can just leave it where it is before you do your next one. It's got a bit smudgy. I think that's because it's an old stencil. It's not a very good stencil. Put one to one side to dry. So if I use a new stencil that I've made, probably got a better result. But now I've got ink on that side, I think I'm going to use something else. Let's see if we've got another stencil. Down there to dry. here we are. We'll use this one. This is the one that, so we'll try this one. Is the one that I made out of the interfacing. So I'm going to try that one instead. Just pop that down. Makes a little bit thick side. Should mix up some new. Let's just have a look at that. That's worked. Yep, brilliant, perfect. So that's the design from the interfacing stencil. So now I'm going to show you, what time are we on? Oh, I think we've not got very much time left. So the last thing that I was going to show you, which may be for another time now because I haven't got a lot of time left, is that you can use watercolours as well. So I'll just get one of my other screens, and for this you need to paint it on this side, not on this, not on the underside, but on the top side. So again, you might want to tape around the edge. I won't do it because I've only got 5 minutes left. So all you need to do with this is you paint your design onto the screen directly with watercolours, or gouache you can use, and also you can use, I've got these Inktense pencils by Derwent. Oh, yep, Derwent Inktense pencils, which is really great because you can use those to draw designs. Just do some shapes and colouring, and they are quite nice and vibrant. So you can just draw directly onto the screen with those. Just do them very quickly, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do next week. So I'm just going to do some. I'm just going to do a little bit on it, and the same with the watercolours. We've got some water there, and got some yellow on there as well. And then you can just paint watercolours on there. You will get a more subtle effect than using acrylics. Then you need to let that dry. So once it's dry, then you need to put the, you can turn it over. Turn it over again with your little stumps there, and hold it down with your weights, and then all you need to do, ooh, I've not got any paper underneath there, let's get a piece of paper to print onto. That's design on. Just get a piece of paper under there. Nearly dry. And then with this, all you need to do is put the acrylic medium or your textile medium across the top. Put it into something first. Put a jar, another jar. I'm going to put some medium into there. Takes quite a while to get out of this one. But that'll do. There we go. Okay, so I've got some medium into a cup, and I'm just going to put that across the top like I did before with something, with anything. And just put that across the top. So you just got the plain medium this time. I'm just putting it on. This is mono screen printing. You can do it with acrylics, but you will need to mix them with the gloop as well first. So I'm going to take all this away. Just don't put pure acrylic paint directly onto the screen because it will ruin your screen. So, but with watercolours it's fine. I've used all my squeegees, so I'm just going to use this one. Okay. I'm going to have to put it the other way around because this one doesn't fit. So I'm going to do it that way. So I'm just going to go through just a couple of times just to make sure it's gone through, and then you can have a look, see if it's gone through. Yep, there we go. And you can see, oh, can you see that? See how subtle the image is? I don't know if you can see it as well on there. Let me just hold it up to the camera more. Oh, there you go. There you go. And you can see that bit there is where I obviously put more paint on it, so it's come out quite vibrant in that bit. So it might have needed a little bit more paint on there to make it a bit more vibrant. But you can do that on fabric as well. So I've just got a little bit of time to tell you about what we're going to do next week. I hope you've gained something from that, and hope it helps with your creativity during this lockdown. Right, so next week, if you want to collect some, if you've got any erasers, and just square erasers, some vegetables, so you can use carrots, parsnips, potatoes, anything like that. Some bits of cardboard, so anything like the mount board that I've laid up in there, some bits of mount board, bits of corrugated cardboard, anything you've got lying around really. We're going to do some block prints, some relief prints, so something like this. And these were done with pieces of cardboard, so which I cut out into the shapes, and then we stamped them, we inked them and stamped them onto there. So that's so we're going to do something like that next week, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I think we've got 1 minute left, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday. The next one's at 1 o'clock next Wednesday, and I'll see you there. Bye.